What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in with Callie. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. But there's a lot of things going on in the NBA this year. And the main thing that's going on that being talked about a lot and that's surfacing in a lot of media outlets and a lot of YouTubers and everybody around the world is the NBA ratings being down this year. Now, when I say that, I preface that by saying that I think that the NBA ratings are down for a multitude of reasons, not just the play-in tournament, which a lot of people are throwing shade at and things like that. And plus the All-Star games over the last few years have been the worst, honestly, not the best and not the most exciting to look at. I mean, pretty much everybody's really anticipating either a dunk contest, which that's not even as exciting as it used to be because half the people in there or some of the guys in there, most people around the world don't even know who they are besides maybe one or two. And then really the only highlight of All-Star weekend, you can say, if you want to be honest, or, if you prefer that, is maybe the 3-point shootout, or the skills challenge or something along that nature. But I mean, other than that, there are other things that are surfacing that a lot of people might not be talking about as much. Superstars, missing superstars. That's always a huge thing. I mean, one person I personally would always say is Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi is my favorite player. And I think he's a lot of people's favorite player out there too, not just mine, of course. And I think when you're missing superstars of his caliber, a lot of times the NBA ratings will dip because you're not seeing the best of the best competition out there. You're seeing some of the competition out there play against mediocre competition or competition not on their level or their skill set. And it's just not a complete full team roster where you can see the best of the best go at each other, up and down the court and really see who is the better team rather than looking at a team playing against another team that's handicapped and it doesn't really, give the same excitement, doesn't have the same feel, you know what I mean? So when you look at it from that standpoint, that's a huge reason why the NBA ratings are down. And, that injuries, we can't, say nothing or, help injuries. It just happens. And we all have to deal with it accordingly based upon how it goes and everything. But I mean, it's still a part of the reason why I believe the NBA ratings are not there, because if it's not injuries, then you got some players doing load management, as they say. And I've always said my stance has been the same with Kawhi Leonard. His injuries have been solidified and his load management has always been solidified to me because I don't think he does not ever want to play. I just think the media made him out to be that way because he came from the Spurs, where they implemented that in order for them to be healthy in the playoffs to go ahead and make a run of the championship. But I still don't think we should question Kawhi's injuries just because. Now, other reasons, you look at somebody like LeBron James. LeBron James, he's I don't know what his personal reasons is for not playing for the Lakers. I think tonight's game against the Wolves and other reasons, but him shutting down his social media and all these things, I think a lot of that has to do with Bronny, his son, because his son is not playing to the level that people thought that he could or would. And I don't even really know why they're shocked because, I mean, the guy didn't really play much college. We know he had the heart issue, cardiac issue. And, I hope he gets well. I hope he, is fully recovered from that. But even in high school, he wasn't the best player in the world. He, as an All-American, I think he was averaging like 14 points a game, which I never seen an All-American average so little points. And then on top of that, like I said, he didn't have much of a collegiate career and he's just got drafted to the NBA, and everybody knows why, because his dad really put the work in for him to get there, because he really didn't have much of a college resume or a high school resume or anything for us to really, hold on substantially to see the value of the type of player he could be in the NBA. And the Lakers, were LeBron basically pulled some strings where no other team would draft Bronny for all the press and all the hoopla that would come around him in order for the Lakers to get him so he could be on the same team with his dad at number 55 pick. And now he's in the G League, not even playing road games. So it looks like, man, he's just a bust to a lot of people and look like a waste of time. But at the same time, I feel like LeBron takes a lot of heat for that, and rightfully so, because really it's his fault. You know what I mean? You got to really let your son develop and play. And I feel like he should let his son maybe play one more year in college, get his feet, wet a little bit more. And hopefully that would have, developed his game a little bit more and give him a little bit more experience, and then go into the NBA with more of a different mindset and a different game plan. But either way, that's no way near here or there. It is what it is. Then you have reports coming out now about LeBron James, wanting to team up with Stephen Curry again. Now, it was reports about that when the Olympics happened this offseason, where they won the gold medal and everything. And I really don't think that's something that the NBA needs. Honestly, LeBron, you won a championship in the so-called bubble, which a lot of people put an asterisk beside. I didn't specifically, but you won a championship in the bubble with Anthony Davis on the same team, the Lakers. You got to find a way to make it work. I don't really agree with guys running from team to team and trying to team up with superstars all the freaking time. It's been that way for a long time in the NBA. And I feel like that's another thing that has dipped in the ratings or helped the ratings dip over time, because you're not seeing the level of competition where these guys want to compete against each other. And if LeBron is the face of the NBA, as a lot of people say, the face of the NBA doesn't need to go run and go play with Stephen Curry, or go run and play with Kawhi Leonard, or go run and play with KD and a big three and a big four and all these things, because it really just takes the ratings down, because you already know who's going to win if four superstars are on one team, hypothetically, you know what I mean? Or multiple superstars are on one team. It just looks like, oh, okay, well, the odds and the favor for this team to win is definitely much higher because they have two of the best superstars in the NBA with a good role players around them and possibly a decent coach. So when you look at all that in its totality, it really makes the NBA look very, very putrid, because when you look at other sports, MLB, NFL, anything, rugby, just name a sport out there, tennis, whatever, well, tennis might be a little different, it's one-on-one, but either way, any other sport you look at, it just looks like there's more competing actually happening rather than teams just, buying players and teaming up. You might have certain teams do that in other sports and stuff like that. Like the Yankees throughout the years have always had enough money to buy the best talent and put the best on their team and go at it that way. But it's not a lot of that. Like the NBA is like filled with that. Throughout the years, I feel like the NBA has been more predicated on big threes and teams like that. And that's really what the name of the game has been, just teaming up and not competing as hard as much as the NBA usually always has been known for. And I think over time, now you add this playing term, which a lot of people are for it, a lot of people aren't. And then the All-Star game makes it even worse, because it's like that's the enjoyment that a lot of people used to enjoy, seeing the dunk contest. And then the guys get competitive in the All-Star game around the second half, and they really go hard and play, their hearts out to see who wins that game. And you don't see those things no more. So it all just trickles down. And like I said, you could start at the top with LeBron. I don't know what his personal reasons is, like I said, for him not playing tonight against the Wolves. But it could be just the fact that the Lakers are not winning. And it looks so bad on him because the Lakers are not playing well. Now you're starting to hear more of the Stephen Curry trade, the Golden State Warriors trade going there to team up with Stephen Curry. And just because the Lakers are not winning and the environment is not great and LeBron is not playing great, now all of a sudden he has to take time off for personal reasons. And like I said, it could be something very personal. I hope it's not nothing in regarding any family member or anything like that. Hope it's not that serious. But if it is something along the lines of him just taking time off to think whether he should still play basketball and whether he still wants to play for the Lakers and get his mind right and all those things, that's not a good look. It really isn't, especially for the NBA, especially while their ratings are dipping and their ratings are not elevating. And the so-called face of the NBA, or one of the faces of the NBA, can't be acting like this if that's the problem. Hopefully it's not nothing very serious. If it is, then respect. But if it's not, and if it's him just pouting because his team is losing, then that's the worst. That's the worst that we can encounter. That's the worst thought we can have of a superstar of his caliber. You got to be able to go through the ups and downs of a team, regardless of whether they're winning or losing. You've been in the NBA long enough. You've won a lot. You've been at the top of the mountain for a long time. So you got to take the bitter with the sweet. You can't sit there and make excuses. And like I said, it doesn't make his son look any better, because if hypothetically, if a story does come out where he took time away from the team because he just couldn't deal with all the negativity surrounding his son, the social media where he's shutting that down and all these things. And, it just makes him look ultimately bad. And it makes the NBA look bad since he's one of the faces of the NBA. The only thing that can help the NBA really at this point is for him to come back and play, whether win or losing. And, Kawhi, players like him, superstars like Kawhi, come back and, get the ball rolling. And we really see teams fully healthy and teams really, really compete against each other. And that's really the only way it's going to work. The competing needs to get back at the highest peak, not all the friend, buddy, lovey-dovey type basketball a lot of teams or a lot of guys are implementing in the NBA now. So we need to get back competing. We need to get back to, hard-nosed basketball, be on your grind, fight every night when you play. and go after and try to win championships.